now it's time to talk about the Crown. It's time to talk about Princes William and Harry, because my continued refrain on this is that how on earth can Prince Harry take millions and millions of pounds from Netflix, a company which is basically glorifying and profiting from the death of his own mother? Now, on the front page of The Sun this morning, the Crown betrays wills, it says here, because Prince William has been asking for them to please not exacerbate the situation and exploit the notorious Panorama interview with Martin Bashir. Netflix have completely ignored Prince William. Not only are they going to cover it in excruciating detail, they're going to cover it over a period of 2 episodes, and they're also going to make some stuff up which was never said. Right? Angela Levin's here, journalist and royal biographer, of course. Latest book out, Camilla, From Outcast to Queen Consort. Angela, very good afternoon to you.
Hello.
I say this now probably about every week as we see more and more lurid stories coming out in the Crown. Last night I was on the talking about the dreadful conversation, which I'm not even going to tell the name of, between Camilla and Charles when they were talking about some very intimate stuff, which is quite revolting to me, and I don't really want to get into it. How on earth can Prince Harry say to his wife, "Oh, let's have a look at my dad in the Crown talking to his then mistress when he was still married to my mother? Oh, by the way, have you got that cheque from Netflix, dear?"
I don't think he's going to do that. I think she will probably lay down the rules and the conversation, actually. Nonetheless, I think they're obviously Republicans. They obviously want to destroy the royal family. We have to believe that. And they don't care if they change things and make them historically wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're going to make a programme, it doesn't have to be absolutely the truth. It can be fiction. But I don't think that you then use the Queen and change a very important speech she gave in 1992 when it was her terrible year, she called it in Latin.
Yes.
And expect that to go through. I think that's stepping over. I think using the intimate conversation between Camilla and Charles when they were the high spot of loving each other but not being able to be together all the time. You can say things that you would never say in public at all. And I think in a way, especially at this time when things are so difficult, make fools of them.
Right.
And I think that the worst thing, as you said, is that Harry is basically attacking William by not supporting him in his perfectly correct request that you don't have this terrible interview with Martin Bashir, where it's now been proven that it was false and he used false documents in order to persuade her. And William has said that it actually really did help her be more unsatisfied and more her mental health go up and down much more. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to ask. It was never true. He pretended that all sorts of people were being paid against her to reveal secrets, and that Harry will continue to work with a company like that makes me both disappointed and angry.
Well, that's right, because clearly he's motivated by the money, which he doesn't really need. It's not like they're poor. It's not like he needs to have the money from Netflix to survive. But the thing is, as well, everything Netflix promised not to do, they end up doing. They said they weren't going to concentrate on Diana's final day, but we saw the other day, I think it was in the Mail, that they are actually filming outside the tunnel where she died, and they're actually filming the crash. Now, whether they probably won't show the actual crash, but they're going to take it right up to the line and create all kinds of horrendous memories for people who know her or who knew her.
Yes, I think it's terrible. I mean, it will upset everybody, really. I mean, even if you didn't know her, I didn't know her, but I would also be devastated to see that repeated now. Even though it's 25 years ago, it was such a tragedy. It was so heartbreaking that really I don't feel that it's right to use that at all. I mean, it's beyond X-rated, isn't it?
It really is. And I mean, when you say you think they're Republicans at Netflix, I mean, what about Peter Morgan? Because he's the guy responsible. He's the screenwriter.
Yeah,
he's the guy who's sort of writing this stuff in. And at what point, I wonder, as a professional screenwriter, do you take what is actually a real interview, a real conversation? I mean, I don't understand the motivation for inserting things that were never said, because surely the power of that interview is what she actually did say. Why would you make stuff up to add it in?
Because, you know, he wants to create something, doesn't he? So he adds that in to create it. And the problem is, in the UK, people will know also that the Queen didn't hug her husband at that time. He was out of the country. Yeah. So that's a sort of nonsense, little romantic nonsense. Right. But people in America do actually believe it. They do take it as truth. And that's what's too terrible for words, actually. And I think that if you have a huge political aim, you must have a disclaimer at the front every time, so that people know that you are making up a lot and it's not actually true.
Absolutely right, because there is a massive difference between those two things. Angela, I haven't spoken to you really since the announcement that Prince Harry's book will be coming out in January. Very bad timing, it would seem to me. What are you hearing about what's in it?
Well, it's the title, really, that shows you what's in it, Spare, which in other countries is going to be leftovers. I mean, the fact that he allowed the publishers to call him a leftover is just absolute nonsense and very cruel. Yeah. While he was... The Spare is very simply the next to the heir. The palace loved him. He was second in popularity to the Queen. He wasn't treated as a piece of leftover human. No. He was treated very well. But he's full of grievances, and the longer it goes on, the more resentment he has. He hasn't tried to move forward. He's gone backwards to try and alter something in the past that you just can't do. He's obviously goaded to do that because he loved his father, he loved his brother. So we have to ask, not a very difficult question, who is persuading him to go this way? And I think that it is shameful from him. I think it's going to be full of pity. It's going to be
self-pity.
Full of self-pity, yes, sorry. Self-pity and getting his own back. Well, he's already got his own back with opera. How many times is he going to get his own back? It's 416 pages, the book. So it is the longest moan in history, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely right. Maybe that's why he should be renamed the Prince of Moaning. Thank you very much indeed. Angela Levin there reporting into us on the news that Netflix, surprise, surprise, is going to make up some stuff about Princess Diana's interview with Martin Bashir.